Lesson 94. In this lesson we learn a new word, and that's quod. Quod means because, and because quod means because, sometimes that means that the word quod is going to divide the sentence into two parts, much in the same way that said does. So we might see a sentence that says, so-and-so happens because so-and-so happens. And so we might have two independent clauses within one sentence. But that won't be too difficult to understand because we're already accustomed to that by working with the word said and seeing how the word said divides a sentence into two independent clauses. So let's look at our exercises. In exercise 1, we have two independent clauses. One comes before the word quod, and the other comes after the word quod. In the first clause, habeo is the verb. That means I have, and skafam is the direct object. And in the second clause, nautasum means I am a sailor. So exercise 1 will say, I have a boat because I am a sailor. In number 2, we have the same situation. An independent clause before the word quod and an independent clause after the word quod. The first one says, we love the soil, and the second one says, we are farmers. So number 2 will say, we love the soil because we are farmers. In number 3, again, we have two clauses. In the first clause, specto is the verb, and we have two direct objects, lunam and stellasque. The que ending at the end of stellasque is like putting the word and between lunam and stellas. And the second clause simply says, I am a sailor. So number 3 will say, I am watching the moon and the stars because I am a sailor. In number 4, we also have two clauses. In the first one, narat is the verb, and that means he, she, or it is telling, but we don't need he, she, or it because poeta is the subject. Puelis is the indirect object, and that's in the dative plural, and fabulam is the direct object. So the first clause here says, the poet is telling a story to the girls, and the second clause says, the girls love stories. So number 4 says, the poet is telling a story to the girls because the girls love stories. In number 5, we also have two clauses. The first clause says, the family is in the boat, and in the second clause, desiderant is the verb. That means they long for or they want. Navigare is an infinitive that means to sail, and ad patriam is a prepositional phrase. So number 5 altogether will say, the family is in the boat because they want to sail to the homeland. In number 6, potestas means y'all are able, and it's being negated by the word non. So non potestas means y'all are not able. Navigare is an infinitive that means to sail, and then we have two prepositional phrases. The first prepositional phrase, sine pecunia, means without money, and the second prepositional phrase, ad patriam, means to the homeland. So number 6 will say, y'all are not able to sail to the homeland without money. In number 7, sunt is the verb. That means they are, but we don't need the word they because kasai is the subject. Kasai is being possessed by agricolarum, which is in the genitive plural. Prope silvam is a prepositional phrase. So number 7 says, the houses of the farmers are near the forest, or the farmers' houses are near the forest. In number 8, est is the verb. We don't need the he, she, or it included in est because pecunia is the subject. Pecunia is being possessed by nautai, which is in the genitive singular, and in scafa is a prepositional phrase. So number 8 will say, the money of the sailor is in the boat, or the sailor's money is in the boat. In number 9, ambulat is the verb. That means he, she, or it is walking, or he, she, or it walks. But we don't need the he, she, or it because femina is the subject. We also have two prepositional phrases, cum puellis and in tabernam. Notice how the object of the preposition in is in the accusative case. That means that in tabernam will mean into the shop. So number 9 says, The woman is walking into the shop with the girls. In number 10, damus is the verb. That means we give or we are giving. Pecuniam is the direct object, and poetai is in the dative singular, so that's the indirect object. So number 10 says, we are giving money to the poet.